Welcome back, everyone. You are tuned in to Middays here, SuperTalk Mississippi. Gerard and Rhino in the studio on this
Friday, y'all.
Joining us now in the studio, Ryan Miller, the Executive Director of the Office of Workforce Development. Thanks for coming in today, Ryan. Always good to see you.
It is a pleasure to be here, and you said it's Friday. Hallelujah, and it is a beautiful Friday.
Isn't it awesome?
Unbelievable.
Falls in Mississippi, arguably the best time of year weather-wise around here. October, maybe
Absolutely.
the best weather month.
Oh, bar none.
It's fantastic. Very fortunate. We got Cruising the Coast going on. Great weather down there.
I'm a
Mississippi
Coast kid.
State Fair.
I'm a Coast kid growing up, so I'm very fond of that event, and it's gotten to be just
awesome.
an amazing event over the years. So
It's incredible.
perfect.
They said 100,000.
That's amazing.
100,000.
I don't doubt it. I've been down there a few times where it is bumper to bumper for miles and miles. If you want to go anywhere fast, you've chosen the wrong weekend to do that. But
Incredible.
So much fun.
All right, so tell us what's going on in your neck of the woods, as they say, over at the Office of Workforce Development. We were just talking about the Great Resignation going on in the country, and lots of factors figuring into that.
Sure.
Folks are looking for work, but good grief, Ryan, everywhere you go, you see help wanted signs.
Yeah, there's opportunities to work, and I was listening to y'all's show even before I came in, and obviously even just reading the news ticker before I made the drive over, and this is probably one of the most complicated times, and yet there's obvious solutions here. There are a lot of great jobs available.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great career opportunities available. At a stone's throw from anywhere you might live in the state of Mississippi. There's a lot of opportunities. My job in the office with the Office of Workforce Development, Accelerate Mississippi, our branded name, it's to try to get those people connected with those good jobs, get those people connected to those careers.
And so how do you do that? What sorts of tools are available?
Sure. Well, Mark's probably about I think I've been in this job 7 months now. This is a brand new office that never existed before. So if you can imagine, and you've started businesses, trying to start something from scratch is exciting. It's also a challenge.
Yep.
One of the things that we've been doing over the last 7 months is trying to get to every corner of the state to identify the current condition of workforce and those partners in those regions that do it well. Maybe there's room for improvement. We can always improve, but
Sure.
who are those partners that do that well, and how can we develop relationships, stronger relationships that from a state perspective can get resources to them to grow those opportunities for people? So I think it's a matter of communicating better. I think we've got to coordinate our resources better.
Yeah.
The buckshot approach of trying to spend a ton of money, we spend over $300 million a year in workforce throughout the state of Mississippi in a variety of different agencies, organizations. And while we do some of those things well, some of those funds go to good, solid programs. I think we need to be a little bit more coordinated in our strategy as to how to move the needle. Right now is there's no better time to actually try to do that.
Yeah. Well, so what are you hearing from employers? What are they telling you? What sort of skills are they needing? It's all the above, actually, because everybody's looking for people, and the pandemic just exacerbated what was already a problem, honestly, before that. So what are you hearing from them, and how do you sort of integrate and collaborate with them and trying to fill their needs?
Sure. Yeah. Well, and that's really the key. I think we're at a time now where industry's recognizing that their voices matter maybe more than they have ever in the past. And so those industry members, in fact, I was meeting with Empire and Stribling last week, just asking them.
Empire Trucks,
and Stribling heavy equipment. And, they have such a desperate need for diesel technicians. They said, if you bring us 100, we'd hire them all, right? And that's just one group, one company. You've got Puckett, you've got a Thompson Machinery. You've got big machinery companies all throughout the state of Mississippi. They all are desperate. Yeah. And so listening to the specific skills of the people that they need, the kind of work, kind of the personality cross-section of the type of people that they need in their businesses, it's really helpful to me to then communicate effectively with my partners at community colleges and some of our career technical educators. Here's who we need. Here's how many of them we need. How can you help us? Just last week we had an announcement that I was really excited about. The office that's been given authority over some funding, we awarded Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College nearly $1 million to expand their diesel technician program.
Wow!
And they've taken the challenge seriously. Mary Graham, she's an amazing president of that community college. college. They rose to the challenge. Jonathan Woodward, her vice president, they have an incredible plan to expand to double the number of students in their program. And we have other community colleges that are now submitting proposals for the exact same thing. So what we have begun to do, listening to our industry partners like you just talked about, we've also identified those key industry sectors where there is a massive need with jobs that pay well above the average wage in the state of Mississippi, getting people into better jobs.
Well, a diesel technician is a pretty highly compensated position.
You can start out making $60,000 to $70,000 a year, but in some cases, after 5 years of, oh, by the way, going to school where you probably have zero debt, after 5 years, you could be making over $100,000 in that field.
Unbelievable.
And these are sophisticated. This is not your old dirty, dark, and dank shops. These are unbelievable facilities. But that's just one. I mean, you could go through a laundry list of career sectors: advanced manufacturing, logistics and supply chain, and you could go even through our 4-year colleges with some of the disciplines: engineering, computer science, technology development. They're screaming for people.
Yeah.
My job, our office's job, is to try to hear that call and use whatever authority and resource that the state of Mississippi has given us to try to focus it on those efforts.
I got you. Well, I don't know that there's anything that's more critical to economic growth and expansion and stability and vitality in our state than the readiness and availability of a properly trained and qualified workforce.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And especially in a state where our population, whether it's stagnant or whether it's shrinking, we have a ton of jobs. We need more people to jump back into the workforce, and we need to recruit and get more people excited about coming to Mississippi, because there's a great opportunity to grow our state and to show that the quality of life is again, go outside, walk around. You can't walk around this beautiful day, but get more people to understand the opportunity that awaits them here in Mississippi and to bring them on board.
Yeah, and you and I were talking offline. We need organic growth as well.
Sure we do.
We obviously need unorganic growth coming from outsiders that seek to locate some form of operations or launch a business here in Mississippi, all the above. But we need our best and brightest talent to consider staying here and put Mississippi at the top of their list to launch their entrepreneurial vision right here in the state. It can be done.
It can't. Well, I mean, you're an example of that, and there are countless other people that you could talk about and talk to that had a great idea and decided to stay here in Mississippi and see that idea blossom. We have two buckets that we spend a lot of time trying to develop strategy in our office. One is called workforce triage. That diesel tech operation that we talked about, that's triage. We have businesses that are bleeding and they need to stop the bleeding. So we're coming up with strategies how to do that. The other, though, is what you're talking about. We call that horizon thinking.
Okay. How
do we get young people with great ideas to try to work to see those ideas come to fruition? How do we get them the resources that they need to be the budding entrepreneurs that can make sure that their roots are firmly established here in the Mississippi? And we've created an environment that will allow their idea to come into full existence. And whether that's a tech company, whether that's computer-based, it really doesn't matter to me as long as we are investing equally in what we call that horizon thinking.
Yeah, it's so critical because we have fabulous universities and community colleges you don't have to necessarily go to college to be an entrepreneur, of course. We've got great young talent all over the place. But we want to keep them here to launch those ideas. Yeah. That's how we truly grow our economy. But more importantly, something that Ryan, I've always felt like is really the bellwether of economic growth and just prosperity in our state. That's household income and per capita income. And we lag, obviously, in both those categories. And we're not going to lift those up until we start creating some of these businesses that create these job opportunities with higher paid and higher compensated occupation.
Absolutely. If you listen to the governor has certainly said time and time again, want to raise that household income, that median household. If you listen to the lieutenant governor, he talks about workforce participation and getting that needle to move. If you talk to the Speaker of the House, it's getting more high school programs that have really true, well-developed career pathways established. So none of those are wrong. They're all right.
Yes.
They're different parts and pieces to that puzzle, but we got to attack attack those with reckless abandon, because for far too long, I think we've just kind of sat back and hoped that it would solve itself.
Yeah, and the data with respect to national labor participation rate was not very good today, 61.8%.
Yeah,
if you look at a chart of the last few quarters and even a couple of years, it's just been really kind of struggling there.
Sure.
We got to fix that.
A lot of opportunity, no question.
No question about it. Let's just hope that they launch those opportunities and seize them right here in the state. Thanks for all you do, Ryan. Appreciate you coming on.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, that's Ryan Miller, the Executive Director of the Office of Workforce Development. We'll take a break here. We'll come right back. Don't forget, Earth, Wind, and Fire ticket giveaway.